Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. I did some stuff I hadn't done in years, like yard work and setting up a security system for my mom. So let me just do a real quick check here. Open up the chat box and say hello. So hello there to you. Hi, Johanna. Good to see you. Let's see who else we have here. By the way, we are live and recording. So, hey, Tony, good to see you, buddy. Let's see. We got, hey, Archie, good to see you. Hopefully things are going well for you out in Lake Havasu. I'm still going to try to get out there, Archie. I was thinking after Thanksgiving for like a week or so, a week or 10 days. If I do, I'll come out and see you. It could possibly be November. Just a couple things are up in the air. We'll find out, and I'll keep you posted. Hey, Betty, good to see you. Doug, good to see you too, buddy. Gary Dewell, good to see you. I had a good call with Mark this morning. Johanna said hi. Selena, good to see you, Selena. I saw you just set up a call, Selena, so that's good. I appreciate that. Shirley, good to see you. Tom Silvestri, good to see you. Tony Moore, Veronica, excellent. Okay, hey, Tony and let's see, Veronica, I think you guys might want to connect. I know you're a little bit away from each other distance-wise, but you're on the same southeast coast of Florida. So there might be some things you can do to join up and be accountability partners, role play, things like that, okay? So let's see here. Let me go back and we will get started. Let's see, Archie, Shirley, Tony, Johanna, thanks guys for saying hello. See you would have a Havasu. That's right, sir. Arizona's secret little, not so secret anymore, playground. How about that? In any case, guys, looks like everybody here is a veteran. So you already know that we're live and recording. Let's use the chat box. Also, you know, tomorrow you get the email from Beverly with the recording in it, and also the schedule coming up for the webinars for October, and also any system updates, system changes, things like that. So it seems like there's always something going on. One of those things is we just relaunched the podcast. First one went out last week. Another one will be coming out this week. We are rebranding. We had 2 prior episodes we had to still publish using the old brand, which was Real Estate Investing for Professional Men and Women. And it was doing well. I mean, I wouldn't complain about it. I think it was being downloaded in close to 50 countries, 30 some odd channels. It just wasn't performing well enough. We think we can do better. So we rebranded to Massive Passive Cash Flow Podcast. In 2 weeks, you'll see that first one come out. Same web page. All the servers are still the same. You know, Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all still the same, just different title, same basic subject. The reason we're doing this is, as many of you know, we are kicking off our investor groups. And we're really, I mean, we're heading out like we're shot out of a cannon. So in any case, the rebranded podcast is coinciding with the launch of the investor groups around the country. If you don't have one and you want one, you got to let me know now or forever hold your peace. And I think everybody on here, the team members, Tony, Shirley, let me just do a quick double check here. Betty, Gary, hey, Helen Lucas, good to see you. Johanna, Selena, Shirley, Tom, most of you have indicated you do want to do a group, your own investor group. The only ones who are not on the team, that's going to be Helen, Doug, and Archie. You can still do your own local group if you want to, your own, we call it a workshop at that level. If you want to do that, please let me know. We should have some one-on-ones. If you want to do it with the group as part of the network, it's just much more powerful. Just gotta switch to the team, which could probably be a good thing because guys, we are setting records, and it's not me, it's the guys on the team. I mean, I'm just one person, but we have people on the team like Bobby Appleby. I've literally almost lost count. I think he's up to just since September 1. I think he's now up to 10 transactions. He's up in St. Augustine, just phenomenal. Um, Andrea Davis in Venice Beach, I think 4 or 5. David Edwards, I think he's got like 5. Betty's got 2. Johanna's got a handful, probably 3 or 4 or 5 for Johanna. I mean, these are real people, real numbers in Florida. I'm just calling out Florida because some of you are, a lot of you are in Florida. Archie will work on Arizona. And let's see, who else did I say there? Helen Lucas, that's right. So in any case, if you guys, this is a regular webinar. I'm not here to promote the team per se. It's just, you know, when it comes to to group development work and project development, there's a lot to be said for doing as part of a team. It's just, you know, it's a natural law, you know. So in any case, without further ado, tonight, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do some role playing, okay? I've had a number of calls and emails to me in the last couple of weeks. I've been talking a lot about, you know, grassroots efforts, guerrilla marketing, a lot of one-on-one with prospects and consumers, and it always generates the, well, what do we say? How do we talk to them? So I wrote down 3 particular subjects tonight. Working with your sphere, what do you say when you call them? A lot of people, a lot of agents I'm finding out are treating it like a cold call. That's not a cold call. If you're in your sphere, it's not a cold call, okay? And there's maybe a couple of subcategories there. People you know on a first name basis like family and friends, that could be one type of call. People that you know each other, but it's not like your best friends, that could be another kind of call. And then people that are like tier 3 in your sphere, that would be people, you know, within the first minute or first few words, they would recognize who you are. And of course you would know them because at some point you served them. That could be another type of call. And then, the sign capture routine that I put out there, that's a biggie. And I'm telling you, because that's one in the last recession, I'm not saying it saved our bacon, but it gave us a lot of transactions, guys. Okay. So I would definitely entertain that one. There's a certain script for that. And then also the online resources like Craigslist, VRBO, you know, Airbnb, things like that. Okay. So in any case, without further ado, I'm going to be looking for some volunteers here right off the bat. How about that? So let's see, who wants to volunteer? Who wants to be a hero for today? Let me see, we got Tony, Veronica, Tony, Tom, Shirley's role played before, Selena, Cedra. Oh, Cedra, hi, didn't see you. Come on, good to see you. I just sent you an email probably within the last hour, Cedra. Cedra, this might be good for you to role play, okay? Mo, how about we'll ask Mo to step up to the plate. How about that? Good to see you, Mo. Johanna, Helen, Gary Doyle's new. Gary, maybe role play for you. Doug's role played before. I think Betty, you may have 2, and possibly even Archie, going back over the last several months to a year. So in any case, let me open up the chat box here. So, oops, why is this not giving me my chat? There it is, okay. Helen, good to see you too. I don't really understand the program investor group that's being started. Oh, so Helen, last week we launched it on last week's weekly webinar, which also happened to be on Monday. And what it is you create a group of investors in a basically community format around you. You're the organizer of the group. It doesn't matter if you ever invested before. Doesn't matter. You know, a lot of people who have invested do this and they make good money doing it. But I've trained people in the past to do it without even, I know people that do them that never even bought their own home before, okay? So what you do, let's say somebody approaches you and say, hey, Helen, you know, I like your group. Hey, how many properties have you bought? You could say, I haven't bought any yet. That's why I created the group. I created the group because I wanted to invest, and I decided to create a group of professionals and business owners who I knew would be better at investing based on statistics, and I wanted to surround myself with those kind of people and serve them and be their agent and learn from them. Okay, nothing better than being straight up like that, and people will respect you for it. Okay, and over time you will gather, you'll learn and you'll earn. So so Helen, more to it than that, but the basic gist of it is to create a group of people who get together once a month to discuss investing, look at case studies, learn. It's education based. So for those who are on the team, Global Investor team, I provide all the training material for free. There's like 6 programs, and every quarter I'll teach a live session online by time zone. Okay, and once a year we'll have an event, a big national event. So, in any case, that's sort of the big picture there. So I looked at last week's webinar, and you can get more information. You can also log into the website, Real Estate with Gary Wilson. Go into the silver level, go into the marketing campaigns on silver level, scroll down, it's towards the bottom, and download everything on the workshop. There's a recorded audio video, there's a PDF version of that, written version. There's a checklist to follow, and I think there's another 15-minute video on how to use Meetup. Great way to get started. Just use this, download that campaign there and follow the instructions. And then on one-on-ones, I can help you get going and get up and running. So some of you that are on the team are still current active students. Like Archie and Doug, I know for a fact are. I don't know if Helen, if you're in silver now, like your year's up. I can't remember when you actually started, but actually I think I do. I think you still should be getting some coaching calls. I'm sorry, some training calls. Coaching's on the team, trainings in the program. So in any case, let's do this. Let me see a hand raise here or a response on a chat box. Who tonight has ever gone to Collier's Sphere and had a little hesitation? Like you're thinking to yourself, do I really want to bother them today? Which is one of the most common things we say to ourselves. Or, you know, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. Just give me a hand raise or comment on the chat box. Who here has ever had that hesitation before you pick up the phone to call people in your sphere? Yep, Shirley says, yep, I think most people have. Hey, Rachel, good to see you. I know I have, guys, and it still happens to me today. I like that. It's funny, the veterans are always chiming in and saying, yep. Mo says, I'd rather call expires. That's a good one. And Selena, with your background, I know you've done some calling before too. So let's do this. We can reverse roles. We can have a lot of fun with role playing, guys. I don't always want to be the one to, be the person on the other end of the phone or be the person, the agent to role play. I could be on the other end of the phone, and you can test yourself. This is a great safe environment to really test yourself in a group. I mean, there's about 15 of us on here. We're all together in the same group anyways, in a safe environment. It's not like you're in front of live clients. So I would suggest you take advantage of the opportunity and test yourself. And don't worry about being right or wrong. The value is in the exercise. If you ask anybody who's role played, and I'm living proof, I didn't used to want to do it myself. I didn't want to role play in a group of a dozen people. When I finally started doing it, I realized there's a lot of value to it. The value's in the exercise. And I'm sure if you ask Shirley, she'll tell you, because she's role played with me a number of times so far. So so Selena, how about Selena, can I call on you to be a hero tonight and do some role playing with you? I'll unmute you so you'll be live audio, your sound will be live for everybody to hear. So Selena, let me know if you're say yes, Gary, I'm going to be a hero tonight. I'll be your champion. We've got a strategy call coming up. You can use this as a prep session for that. Guys, if you hear anything in the background, that's a cat who wants to play. Selena says, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. I'm gonna unmute you, Selena. Don't be nervous. We're just gonna start. So hang on one second. Allow to talk. Okay, Selena, you looks like you can unmute yourself now on your end. There's probably a button. There you go. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. How's all the puppies and kitties up in Jacksonville?
They're good. You're probably going to hear them in a few minutes.
That's okay. I've got 3 dogs here and 3 cats. So.
Yep.
So
I've got 3 myself. Got the 2 Yorkies and I got a cat.
All right. Well, let me ask you. I know you came from the furniture retail business and you've been in real estate almost probably getting close to a year. what would you say, I just brought up the example of calling your sphere. There's other examples too, but what would you say is the one thing you could use the most help with when it comes to scripting and practicing handling objections and things like that? It could be calling your sphere, but I want you to have some input here since you're my first tonight.
Well, I think it's like what you touched on earlier, thinking that they're going to be so busy. And I do have a sphere, but these people are all in sales, like car sales and everything. And I know they're really busy. When they answer the phone, they're short on time, you know? So I would like to make it quick to the point and, you know, and not, you know, just waste a whole bunch of time. Cause I have done that before too. And then just gotten into a long conversation that just went nowhere.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's perfect. So let's use that as an example. So a couple of things came up. They're mostly people also in sales, and they're busy because we know we're busy, so we know they're busy. But I wouldn't let that be a detriment or a limiting factor, and here's why. We're all human and we have a lot in common, and we have differences, we have things in common. And one of those things is from time to time we want to buy or sell a house, we want to maybe invest in a property or sell an investment property, or you got challenges with like a rental property, something like that. And those transcend, you know, what we do in our day job, you know. It's like a different mindset. Once you get home, you know, and let's say it's 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, you should be starting to switch gears. So what I want to do is this, everybody, I'm going to give you all something to write down here. Okay, and this is recorded, but I would still write this down. On your database, you should have always, every week, every day, an ongoing sphere contact campaign that's simply by phone, okay? I know it's easy to send a text, it's easy to send an email, it's easy to send a Facebook message, but quite frankly, sometimes they're cop-outs. I know because I've done it before myself. We use that as well, I'll send them a Facebook message instead, or I'll send them a text message instead of calling them. There is no better way to get a conversion than actually talking to somebody one-on-one. So please write this down. You should have an ongoing campaign of calling your sphere. I know some of the students, like Charlie up in New York City, he has a rule. He never lets a day go by without calling any fewer than 5 people. That doesn't sound like much, but you know, it's 25 people a week times 50 weeks, whatever that comes out to, 1,250, something like that. That's a lot of phone calls, okay? So I would say 5 a day is a noble effort. Something minimum like that, you know you can do. Okay, that's number one. So that's number one. You should be contacting your sphere every day, every week. Number 2 is this. Please write this down. You should prioritize your sphere. Okay, and what I mean by that is not in terms of who you think is ready now or what profession you're in. It's more like how, when you rank your relationship, one being, you know, like inner circle closest, that's the closest people you're closest with is group 1. That's your inner group. You might even be the kind of person you might go out with every now and then, meet for drinks, whatever, you know, meet at the beach, something like that, okay? Group 2 would be people you definitely know, probably professionally. It's definitely a first name basis, but it's not like you would call them up to go hang out or anything, you know? That's group 2. Group 3 would be pretty much everybody else. You know, it might take them a few words for them to recognize who you are, but generally they'll recognize you. You would definitely know them, or otherwise you wouldn't be calling them. They're not in your sphere, but that would be group 3. And what I would tell you is this: you should focus on group 1 right away, okay? That should be your focus. So when you run out of group 1, then you start calling your group 2. And this process should repeat itself at least every quarter. If group 1 is really group 1, probably chances are you're already talking to them at least once a quarter anyways, but once a quarter is the frequency. And then you recycle, then you go back to group 1 and then group 2 and so forth and so on, okay? You may never get to group 3, I don't know, but I'm just saying every quarter start over again, make sure you get your group 1s followed by group 2s, okay? Now, that's the 2 things. The third thing is this, is if you want to really make it easy on yourself, take something that's timely and relevant, right? So right now, two things are very timely and very relevant: the election and the virus. Okay. So how do you tie that into calling a group one person, number one person that you bought a car from before, they bought a house from you, you see each other at parties, things like that. You might even go and meet for dinner or whatever. Use this to tie back to their profession. So what I want to do is this, Selena, I'll be the agent, and I'll let you be my group one contact. How about that? I'll take the heat off of you on the first one. How about that?
Okay.
I'm going to call you up. So I'm calling Selena. So Selena, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Selena, this is Gary Wilson. How are you doing?
Hey, Gary, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Long time no see. How was your weekend?
Oh, it's good. It's
Okay.
good.
Good. Hey, I'm just curious. Obviously, I got my license last year. I've been in real estate for 9 or 10 months now. Left the furniture retail business, and I'm noticing even though it's sales, some things are different. So one of the things I want to ask you is, I trust you to value your opinion. Is how has this virus affected your business and your routine as far as how you conduct your business? How are you contacting people? Has it changed your marketing? I'm just looking for some insight, because I realize anything I can learn from any other industry related to sales will probably help me in my business. So if you tell me, what's the biggest impact you've seen on your business from the virus?
Well, business has slowed down. People just aren't coming in anymore. It's just really having a hard time connecting with people because there's so much fear out there of just trying to get together. Everyone's masking up and lots of fear going on.
Yeah. Well, I get it. Well, by the way, quick interjection here, guys. That intro I did I probably talked a little bit too long. I probably could have got it out there in about 75% of the time I took. The other thing too is I ended up asking a what question. So here's the fourth thing to write down. You always want to ask who, what, when, how questions. Okay? Ask the open-ended questions. Always, always, always. And anytime you're ever stuck in a conversation, just in your mind, or use this mindful technique. I go through this with my thumb. Who, what, where, when, how. Right? Just like that. I'm not doing that in front of their face. My hand's down by my side. But I'm coming up with that. And I'm thinking who, what, where, when, how. And ask them those kind of questions, and it gets the conversation going. So in any case, back to this. I'm going to follow up with another question, which is a how question. So back to the phone call. Well, how has this affected your marketing? How exactly are you trying to reach people? What are you not doing now that you used to do, and how are you doing it differently now?
I'm so lost. What am I doing to reach out to my customers? Well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just calling them up now.
Okay. Have you thought of starting off rebuilding or building rapport with something timely and relevant, like the election or what's happening with the virus, just to get the conversation going?
That's a good idea. I ought to try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually curious too. I know you've been in the auto sales business for quite some time, and I know people in my personal sphere that have been successful too. And some of them invest in real estate. And what we're finding out right now is some people are running scared. Like, why would I invest in real estate? Isn't it going to crash? People don't have to pay their rent, all this kind of stuff. And I say, you know what? For you, that may be true. If you're, we call that, fear-based response. But the fact is you can't get away without paying your rent unless you are directly affected by the virus. If you are able to pay your rent, you have to pay your rent. So it's like a limiting belief that's out there. But here's the reality. For every person that's in fear, there's another person that's thinking, you know what? Half the world is in fear right now. That spells opportunity. When do good investors look to invest their money? It's like Warren Buffett says, when other people are in fear, it's time to move in, right? So I mean, have you thought about yourself? Have you thought about building an additional stream of income for yourself, some passive income for something that's going to been around forever, will be around forever? People need a place to live. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, you know, what am I going to do? Things are just slowing down. I really need to do something.
Yep.
So.
Well, I appreciate that. I know one thing I hear from people is, well, isn't in the peak of the market, why wouldn't I wait till the market drops? And why would I pay so much now? And I always would ask you, in fact, I'll ask you this right now. If you could get a place and the price is right, would you be interested in looking at and pursuing that further?
Yeah, the price would definitely have to be right.
Yep. Okay, quick pause here, guys. Please write that one down. That's an age-old question you can't go wrong with. And the answer is always a positive answer. So I know people like Doug, you've probably used this before, probably Shirley, which is this. You can do it on the listing side and on the buyer side too. You can say, like on listings, you know, we can't find anything right now out of the market, and that's why I called you. I know you've got some properties. Have you ever considered selling one of them if the price was right? Of course, the answer is always yes. If the price is right, of course, the investors, that's why they got in the business, to make money. So they need to sell at some point. If the price is right, why wouldn't they? And same thing on the buyer side. If I can find you a good investment property right now and the price was right, would you be interested in pursuing that further? And you know, you might get some no's. Actually, let's do this, Selena. Let me go back to that. I'm going to have you give me a no answer. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Selena, if I could find you one, right, inventory is tight right now. I got to tell you, I'm a professional and I do this all the time, but if I could find you a good investment property and the price was right, would you be willing to pursue it?
Oh, I don't know, Gary. Things are tough right now. Everything's so up in the air. I don't know if I could commit to that.
Okay, well, fair enough. I appreciate that. I mean, sometimes timing's not right, but let me ask you, do you know anybody, family, friends, neighbors, who would be interested in making a lot of money right now if I could find them the right deal at the right price? You do have any friends who'd be willing to make a lot of money?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And what else just happened, and quick caveat, quick pause here. And Selena, what else just happened internally when I said, do you know anybody who might be interested, any of your friends, relatives who might be interested in make a lot of money? What just happened personally when that came?
Well, the light bulb just went off. Like I could think of, you know, yeah, there's a few people I know that would love to make some money.
Well, not only that, some people might say, well, I felt kind of sheepish. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, the underlying premise is make a lot of money. And here I know other people, but yeah, exactly. So that's always a really good comeback question when somebody gives you an objection or a no answer. So, okay, let's do a quick pause here. Selena, does that help? You want to go any further with that one, or?
That does help.
Okay. Since you're on the stage right now, anything else you want to cover, like objections, listing objections, things like that, before we move on to another person?
I can't think of anything. We can move on.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put you back. And Selena, thank you very much, by the way, for doing that.
You're welcome. Sorry about my dogs.
That's okay. Dogs are people too, you know?
Yeah.
So now I can't find your name to, oh, there you are, way up top. Okay, so I'm gonna, there you go. Okay, let's see, who else is feeling brave tonight? Let's see, some people have got on a little bit late here. Hey, Sean Ritchie, you feel up for a role play? Oh, use the chat box, sorry. Let me go to the chat box here. Oh, Tom, that's right. So I'm going to, so Sean, I'm gonna do Tom first. So Tom, hang on one second, buddy. Let's see. Go back to participants. And where did Tom go? There he is. Okay, Tom, you should be able to unmute now, so.
Oh, hey guys.
All right, how you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
You know, this is a double bonus day. We get to talk to each other twice in the same day.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the reason I volunteered is I have a couple of scripts that I could share with you all if you'd like.
excellent. Absolutely, yeah. Now, do you want
Uh,
to do it with another student? You want to do it with me? I mean, you know me, I'm flexible.
doesn't matter. I'll do it with you or whoever would like to do it.
Let's see if we can pick how about Sean, since I just mentioned Sean. So Sean, I'm gonna volunteer you. And by the way, Sean is relatively new, Tom, but he has some great related industry background,
Okay.
different industry, but similar type training. So Sean, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Tom.
So the first one I'm going to do is one I did during Bold at Keller Williams, and it was pretty effective. I have to say that, like, I don't know, I'd say 40% of the people got leads from it.
Okay.
So let's try that one first. It's different, but it works. So let's try it. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Sean. This is
Yes.
Tom Silvestri with EXP. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
It's been a while. Do you have 2 minutes to help me with a problem?
Certainly.
Look, I'm taking this really great class today, and we're having this competition. And I need to get at least 10 referrals in the next hour or two in order to win this really huge prize. I really think it's a trip to Hawaii. They haven't announced it yet. I was just curious, who do you know from church or from work who wants to buy a home or sell a home or invest in real estate that I could call today?
Oh man, Tom. Let me think.
How could you help me out, Sean?
Yeah, I'm sure I have a couple of names of people you might be able to call. I don't know how helpful they'll be, but I'm sure they enjoy talking to you, and y'all could figure it out.
Oh, that would be great, man. Thank you. Just give me their names and numbers, and I'll hopefully be sending you a postcard from Hawaii.
That'd be great.
All right, so that was one. I believe. I mean, and people felt like guilty, like saying, "Why am I going to lie?" And people are like, "Well, you're not lying because if you sell 3 or 4 homes, you know what? You can take a trip to Hawaii." So that was one.
It's how I got my first listing, was a call like that out of a Bold class.
Okay, there you go. And so I just thought of it when he decided to do the calls out to the sphere, and it's great because you use this psychology here. Friends want to help you, and they're like scratching their head trying to figure out how to help you and who they can, what names they can give you. So it works.
Exactly.
Let's see. The other one I have is this one, and this one was good because a lot of the times you're trying to do these calls, and you get somebody on the phone. And how often is it that they just keep talking and before you know it, 45 minutes is gone, and you do 3 to 5 calls like that and you've lost your whole morning, and that's not the purpose of lead gen, right? So this call goes like this. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Sean, this is Tom. This is a business call. Do you have a minute just to talk?
Sure, Tom.
Great. Yeah, look, we can catch up and I can give you a call over the weekend, but I just really wanted to focus now because I got a lot of work to do, and I'm sure you do as well. Sean, who do you know that would like to buy or sell or invest in real estate in the next 7 to 10 days?
Oh man, I'm not really sure off the top of my head right now, Tom. It's
Well, Sean, can you think of anybody maybe from a church group or from a club year or a family or a neighborhood or an office, somebody, just from anything like that?
my daughter went to the pumpkin patch the other day, and her friend mom said her husband's parents are moving from Atlanta. So that may be, somebody right there.
Awesome. Would you mind if I gave them a call?
No, not at all.
By the way, when do you plan on moving?
Oh, I'm not sure.
All right. Well, when you do, you know who to call, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Sean. Thanks for giving me help today. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure. It was great speaking with you.
All right. Those are my only 2 scripts that I had from I took out of the mothballs.
Okay, all right, I like it. Let's see what else we have. We're actually doing pretty good on time. It's 7:35. We could do 2 of the campaigns I worked up in the last few months for calling like vacation rental by owners, Airbnb owners, and people on Craigslist, like for sale by owner, things like that. We could do a role play on that. And also the most recent one I put out there was the sign capture. Okay. Where you pick out a neighborhood you go by that you know is known for being a rental area, for example, and you look for the homegrown for rent signs, or those do it yourself for rent signs, the ones you get from Home Depot, the red and white, and they handwrite their phone number on it and put 3BR up at the top, 3-bedroom, call the phone number. They're doing it, that's the owner doing it. So we call that a sign capture. So those are two of the campaigns that I've gotten a lot of phone calls on. How do you do the scripting and all that? So let's see who else we've got here. So you guys have already figured out if you don't speak, I'm going to call on you eventually. So let's see who's the brave souls here. We got probably 2 more role plays we can do. So we got let's see, Tom, Sean, and Selena have done it. So Veronica, Mo, Archie, Betty, Doug, Gary, brand new Gary Doyle. Welcome aboard, Gary. Helen, Johanna, Cedra, Shirley, and Tony. So I'll narrow the list down. I'm going to say Tony, Gary Doyle, and Mo. So Tony, Gary Doyle, and Mo. Let's see who's going to impress the teacher and be the hero and be the first one to respond here. Mo raised her hand. Okay, Mo, you're it. I'm going to mute you. Hi, Mo.
I'm so sorry. I don't think you saw my text because I just pulled up to a showing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, yes, I did. I'm so sorry. I had to make.
Well, I'd say that exempts you.
Okay, but I will, say this publicly in front of everyone that at the next class I will do the role play.
Okay, good. I'm going to hold you to it. By the way, everybody give Mo a pat on the back because she just got a listing under contract like lickety split. Was that last weekend before? I think it was.
Yeah, last weekend we had 10 offers and it's gone. And then I have another listing under contract, and then I just got my buyer under contract today. So I'm excited.
Nice. Way to go, Mo. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Looks like I'm going to come to St. Louis too. I got to get back on the road, guys. I'm going crazy. So I'll come to St. Louis. Okay. Thanks, Mo. Okay, let me go back to the chat box and see. Let's see. Okay, Gary Doyle. All right, good. So there, Gary, hang on just one second. Let's see, participants. Let me find Gary. Good to be Gary. There we go. Okay, Gary, you are live, so you can unmute yourself.
Hey, everybody.
All right. Hey, what's the what do they call it, the 411 right now on your you're back up at the cabin?
So tomorrow I actually heading back up. It's gonna be 70 there this weekend, so
Nice.
yeah. But home for the moment. My youngest just got married on Saturday, so.
Hey, congratulations. Hey, everybody, give Gary's also brand new to the team. Gary Doyle and his son just got married. So,
Yep.
hey, congratulations. So everybody give a pat on the back if you don't mind on the chat box. That'd be great.
Thank
And
you.
while they're doing that, hey Gary, we can role play anything you want. The two ideas I had were using the sign capture routine for picking up some rental investment properties, or calling people from online like VRBO or Airbnb or Craigslist. But is there anything that has stumped you in the past, perhaps, or caused you to hesitate, like an objection, or just anything come to mind that you want to try to address? Because this is our safe place to do it.
Yeah. I think people maybe just kind of blowing you off, like not taking your question kind of seriously, or you go in with a plan, but then it kind of goes in a different direction than you originally planned. So, okay, so I've heard this is a good one right now. I've heard the objection I'll never buy in a seller's market. So, I mean, that I've actually heard that a couple times lately. So, you know, I think I have an answer to that, and I just say, well, there's always a good deal out there, so why would you limit yourself, you know, to making that statement? But
Right. Well, and that's true too. Now, would you say these are mostly traditional owner occupant consumers, or are they investors who are giving this objection?
probably more of the owner occupant, because that's kind of where I came from before joining your team. So,
Okay.
yeah, I haven't had a ton of experience yet in the investor side, but
Okay. So let's do this. I'll have you be the consumer, and I'll be you. I'll be Gary. That's easy for me, right?
I'll be here.
There you go. Hey, one time, real quick, I know I shouldn't do this, but when I was in banking, the whole time I grew up, I never knew another Gary. I didn't. And I got into banking, all of a sudden there was like, I've met and used several Garys. And one time we got on the elevator, and there was one guy on there, his name was Bob, and he was everybody's boss. Everybody else was named Gary. We realized it after about the first 3 seconds. It was Gary, Gary, hey, doing Gary, Gary, Gary. And all of a sudden, I looked at Bob and said, Bob? And he's also the tallest one. He said, what's your excuse? You know, that was my funny moment for tonight.
Awesome.
4 Garys and a Bob. But so what I'll do is I'll call you up. I'll let you be the consumer, and just to markets the way it is right now. I mean, demand is far exceeding supply. You know, there's property. There's just as many properties today as there was yesterday. They're just not all on the market. They're not all in the MLS and so forth. So how do we overcome the objection? Why would I buy now when the market is at its peak? So let's go ahead and start. You'll be the consumer, and you give me the objection, and we'll see if we can handle it. So ring ring.
Hello.
Hi Gary, this is Gary Wilson with eXp Realty. How are you?
I'm good, Gary. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, first off, I want to tell you I appreciate you taking the call. I respect you and respect your time. I know you're probably pretty busy, like most successful people. But what I'm curious about is you've indicated to me in some interactions we had online and through email that you had some interest in potentially buying, and I'm not sure if it's because you're looking to move, maybe you're going to sell and buy something else, or what's your feeling right now about making a move, say in the next 1 to 3 months?
So actually, for a long time, I've wanted to buy rental properties, and you know, now I've thought about it quite a bit, but now is not really the time, you know, as I see, because of the supply. I mean, there's not many out there, and the prices are absolutely ridiculous where we are right now. So I figure I'm just going to wait through and look it up again in the springtime.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your position, and I know it's probably based on everything we see on the surface, stuff we see on the news, and it's all based on reality. It's not we're not making this stuff up. The world is what it is. But if I could find you a good deal and the price was right, would you be interested in at least taking a look at it if the price was right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, here's what I wanted to run by you. So I'm an investor too. I've been investing for quite a while. And this is my 5th market cycle that we're heading into. And one of the things I recognize is a lot of people have that same thought is, well, why don't I just wait? I'll wait till the market drops and I'll scoop in and pick up the good deals then. And unfortunately, a lot of people are thinking that. And when it comes to investment properties, what's interesting is it usually doesn't follow the same pattern as the owner-occupant residential business does. If you look at the last recession, perfect example. The owner-occupant business definitely dropped. Volume dropped 25% across the U.S. In some markets, values dropped by 50%. But if you look at the investment properties, particularly rentals, I'm not talking about flipping, I'm just talking about the rentals, you didn't see the same thing. In fact, what you saw was a lot of money pouring into the market to buy up these investment properties, to buy up the rentals. Now, let's think about that. In a recession, when the market drops, would you say there were more people buying homes to live in or fewer people buying homes to live in?
Fewer people buying to live in.
Correct. And what would you say happens to the number of renters out in the marketplace? Because, you know, money's tighter, is even tighter to get them. Would you say more people are becoming renters during a recession?
Yes, I would say that.
There are. Now, when you have a relatively fixed supply of a commodity and increased demand, what does that generally do for the pricing?
Say that one more time, sorry.
So when you have a relatively fixed supply, like in this case, there's only so many rental properties, and yet demand for those rentals for people renting them is increasing, what does that generally do to the price, to the rents?
Oh, it would go up.
They do. Yep. And if the rents go up on a rental property, what else goes up relative to that property?
The owner's income.
And the value. Yeah. So here's what's interesting. Yep. So here's what's interesting is really good investors, really smart investors, people just like you, study this stuff and recognize that it's like Warren Buffett says, when the herd goes left, what should we do?
Go right.
We should go right. So right now, everybody's thinking, why would I buy when the prices are high? Why wouldn't I wait? So everybody's waiting. Smart investors move in and scoop them up now because they know if they buy right, if they buy the right property, right, over time, they'll be able to increase their rents because there's more demand for those rentals and therefore increase the values of the properties. And quite frankly, that's how the banks value them. When you have 5 or more units in a property, they use income approach to valuation. It's, in other words, the valuation is based on the income, the net income that's thrown off of the property, which is going up, you know?
Yeah.
So the other thing is this, is Gary, so I hope, by the way, does that explanation help you see more clearly how the rental market actually behaves?
Yeah, that was awesome, actually.
Okay, well, there's something else I want to run by here. I'm a global investor agent. We have a team of agents all across the country. We have certain tools and strategies and methods and access to data that others just simply don't have. And we can find at the tip of our fingers, push of a button, everybody and anywhere in the country, doesn't matter what county, zip code, city, town, doesn't matter. We can find out who's right now currently in foreclosure, in bankruptcy, probate, and people will they'll say, well, how can you do that? Because people can't be evicted right now. People can't be foreclosure right now. People can't be, you can't complete a bankruptcy round. That's not true. It's happening every day. We know for a fact, we can look at the dates and see that those activities are currently happening now, and we can find those people that own those properties. And would you agree that people in stress like that, you know, bankruptcy, pending foreclosure, probate, things like that, that they might be more interested in selling than most other people?
Definitely. And,
Yeah.
and maybe even at a discount.
Exactly. So that's the stuff that we use, and that's the stuff that most good investors use. Is we use tools like that to identify the right owners of the right properties that need to or want to sell. And those situations are timeless. They transcend any market dynamic. Doesn't matter what year it is, doesn't matter what season it is. Those things have no barriers, you know. So if you're interested, I would be happy to pull a list of properties for you in the area where people that are in foreclosure or bankruptcy, and I'd be glad to pursue them on your behalf to see if we can strike a good deal. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah, that would be great. I would be very interested.
Okay, so let's do a quick pause here, guys. Now, Gary kind of took it easy on me a little bit, but that's okay, because the reality is everything I just stated was 100% factual, and you can back it up with research and data all day long. But the thing is, if you think about the logic, see, most investors, they need to think through what's the likelihood of them making money and how and when they're going to make the money. And if you can demonstrate that with logic and rationale, you'll usually get most people who are investors over the line, and at least into having a conversation. I'm not saying Gary's going to buy a property tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure we could carry on a decent dialogue, find properties that are good deals regardless of what the economy is doing. And that's the way you want to approach it. And the fact is, you know, I've had investors tell me they'll keep buying no matter what because they have this philosophy, which is this: it's better to buy and wait than to wait and buy. People who wait and buy miss opportunities. People who buy and wait don't really care so much about the market cycle because they always buy right. They buy the right property from the right owner, and they know the market's going to go up and down, but they're in it for the long haul. So they don't wait and buy, they buy and wait. And in fact, they will tell you they might buy fewer properties at the peak of a market, and they might buy more at the bottom of the market. So really like dollar cost averaging. So yes, there's more opportunities out there when the market bottoms out, single family homes and that kind of thing, but there's also more competition. So, so the bottom line is this: is they'll still buy no matter what the market's doing. Good investors will always tell you that. We always invest. We're always investing. I'm the same way. Okay, that was a good one because that allowed me to demonstrate a couple things about being an investor agent and having the tools and so forth. So thanks, Gary, for doing that.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm going to check the chat box here. Helen says, "Yay, Gary!" Well, I think they're congratulating you on on your son's wedding. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Hey, Tony, can I call on you? Tony Moore, we just had a call today also. So let me go here. And there we go. So, okay, Tony, you're live and can unmute yourself.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a couple of hours.
So is there anything, and I know you're also relatively new, and of course you're still working a full-time job too, and you got children.
You gotta help me stop that now. Come on, Gary.
That's right. What am I saying? That's negative language. So guys, I'm gonna put myself on record here. So the goal is within a year of, I think it was July or August when you started, to have Tony be able to leave his day job. And he was a dad and a granddad and all around good citizen. So so I think we can come together as a team and encourage you to inspire you to do that. But is there anything, and I'll preface it with this. I know in the past, a few months ago, I was having you work with people in your sphere on a vocation basis, like policemen, firemen, first responders, that kind of thing. And I know you had an initial meeting, and I kind of lost track of that after that. But having said that, that one kind of went cold on you. But is there anything you want to discuss that stumped you, and since you got your license, or anything that's causing you, objections, hesitancy to call people, anything like that we can address in the group here?
I think it's more the hesitation of calling people, and just getting out, just doing that. That would be the thing. As far as the meeting that went cold on me, I know them people personally, so I know I can always go back and re-engage. And that would be easy for me to do. I don't have a problem with that. It's just the second tier of my sphere, the second group, which there's a lot of those individuals, and just being able to reach out to them is, giving them that phone call and trying to strike up a conversation with people who are police and they got that police mind. So
yeah. Well, I know in the past I think I've had over the years probably at least a half dozen police officers that I've trained, and one of the common themes is I don't know how to describe it. It might be geographic too, but it's like police officers sometimes can have an edge about them when they realize you're doing something else on the side, and like you're want to invest, you're making money, things like that. And I don't know how to describe it, but it's one of the things I've heard from a number of officers. Is that something you think might be going on too?
Yes, yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've worked with state troopers and local police officers too, and it's the same thing. But the reality is this: we all want some of the same things. We want to have enough money so we don't have to work anymore. And particularly in your field, you know, the way things have gone, it's like, man, you're every day you step out the door and you go off to do your job, and it's, you know, it gets stressful, you know, especially when you got family. And that's something I think all police officers share, is that it's just like a fear thing. It's natural, it's normal. I mean, you should have it, you know. And there is a way out, and it's doing something else on the side, like getting your license like you did, and or investing in your own real estate, which is what a lot of firemen and policemen have done. So the trick is to tap into that commonality, you know. So what I would say is this: let's do this. I'll be the agent, and you be the consumer, and I'll be an officer, you know, who's got my license too, and I'll call you up, and I know you've got your license, and we'll go from there. How's that?
That sounds good.
And give me some heat. Don't take it too easy on me, because I want to see if we can work our way through this and come to that common ground. What do we have in common? And try to come up with, we're in this together. Let's work on this together. You know, you help me, I help you. It's a win-win situation. That's all what we're trying to get to. So when you end the conversation, you're on the same page. So, okay. So ring.
Hello.
Hey, Tony, this is Gary Wilson. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I know it's the evening here, and you probably got your family to get to and all that, but I've been thinking about you. I know the last time we saw each other was about a year ago with that one case. You know, we were chasing that guy down the street, and in our, you know, you happened to be there at the same time I was, and that was kind of a neat way to meet somebody. But I wanted to tell you, in the interim, since last year, I've actually got my real estate license.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm doing it on the side. I'm nothing against being a police officer. I'm still a police officer myself. But that incident kind of was a wake-up call for me. And I just wanted to reach out to you and see how you're doing right now. And then, you know, what's your life like? What are your plans for staying active duty? And what are your plans for retirement? That's what I was thinking. And I want to share with you what I did. It might help you too. You know, so kind of, if you don't mind, fill me in on where you are right now with your profession.
Well, you know, I just entered the drop, so that means I got like 5 years to go in my
Okay. Hey Tony, I don't know if I lost you there. You still there? Oops. Hey Tony, if you can hear me, check your connection, because it just dropped cold there. It looks like on this end, it looks like we're okay. And while you're doing it, I'll go ahead and pick up from here. So what I would do next, guys, is I would ask Tony. I'd say, Tony, you know, have you made any real plans for your exit in 5 years? Have you thought about replacement income? What are your plans for having income coming in? Are you going to just start another profession? Oops, yeah, we definitely lost him. Okay. Shoot, this is the guy that should be hearing this. Let's give him another second to log back in. That's probably what he's doing, guys. Let me check the chat box while we're waiting too, because there might have some comments here. Okay. Gary's saying, thanks everybody. Thanks, Gary, for saying that. Appreciate it. Let me see if Tony's back on. Let's see. I'm going to try to promote you to panelist, Tony. Tony Moore will be rejoining the webinar as a panelist. Go to panelist. Okay, so we're still waiting on Tony. Any case, guys, back to what I was saying. What I'm looking for now is looking for common ground. You know, both guys want to leave the force. They both realize they got to have something to money coming in, not just pension from the force, but other income coming in. And some guys will literally take on a brand new profession. You know, they'll go into insurance, sales, all kinds of stuff. In this case, you know, I'm going to be Tony, who's got my realtor's license. Let me check one more time and see. Still not there. Well, it's being recorded. Okay. So I would ask them that question: what have you thought about, or what are you putting in place for retirement in 5 years in financial terms? And listen to his answer. And he might say something like, well, I thought about investing in real estate, or he might say, I'm not sure, or he might say, well, I thought about selling, insurance. Either way, what you do is listen for the answer and give them an alternative and say, look, have you ever thought about flipping homes or buying rentals? And I will tell you guys this too, little caveat here. Statistically, firemen and police officers make really good investors historically. They're great, they're active, they participate, and they do pretty well at it. And they don't have a fear of well, I shouldn't say that. They've gotten used to dealing with people that maybe aren't paying their rent on time or messing up their apartment. Okay, Tony's coming back on here. Good. Hey, Tony.
Hey, I
Good.
don't know what happened to my computer, but it just went down on me.
That's okay. That was your chief trying to make sure you're not leaving the force too quickly. So, hey, by the way, one of my best friends just got promoted to captain of a precinct up in Virginia Beach, the 5th precinct. He's Pat Gallagher. So, Yep. So he's another good guy. Okay, so where I left off, Tony, was what I'm trying to do now is look for common ground. So what I was asking is, hey, have you thought about what you're going to do in 5 years? Do you have replacement income? Maybe what's your plans for retirement?
Well, I got a good retirement plan. Pretty much just move to a lower income area and just enjoy my retired life.
Okay.
I got a pretty good pension.
Well, tell you what, have you ever thought about flipping a home or buying a small rental?
I thought about things like that. But, it's just the market is just so, it's a seller's market. So really, there's really no flips out there. There's nothing that I can find. There's nothing really out there.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from people. A couple things. Here's what's interesting. The number one is this. There may not be as many properties advertised right now, on the local MLS systems and things like that. But would you agree that there are just as many houses out there today, whether they're for sale or not? There's just as many houses today as there was last year, maybe even more, right?
Right.
And some of those people may need to or want to sell. They might not be advertising right now, but this has been a crazy year. Some people did that mortgage, what did they call it? I forget. You don't have to pay your mortgage payment for a couple of months. Forbearance.
Oh,
okay. Well, forbearance isn't forever. That's only temporary. And 2 weeks ago, FHA put out a report said that 39% of mortgages right now in the U.S. are underwater. 39%. That's worse than the last recession, which was peaked out at 30%. We thought that was bad. 39%. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some properties that'll be available for sale. And would you agree people looking at bankruptcy, foreclosure are more likely to want to sell?
Yeah, I agree with that. But, how do I hear that from a lot of people. I hear that from some, other realtors. And, so what's setting you apart, Gary, or
Yep.
from anybody else that's telling me these things?
Well, the good news is I'm part of a team called the Global Investor Agent Team, and we're all investor agents. We're certified investor agents, and we're all over the country. And we just happen to have certain tools and access to data that most agents just don't have, right? We also have certain tools and calculators and spreadsheets we use to accurately not only identify, but analyze properties. And most residential agents are trained to just help you and I buy and sell our own homes. They're not trained to work with investors. You got to go to commercial for that. Yet the commercial guys don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with duplexes and fourplexes and triplexes and flips. They want to deal with the strip malls and storage facilities. So we just happen to serve that niche in a way that no other group has ever done. It's like we have our own category. And we literally can find in a moment's notice for any city, any town, any zip code, any county in the entire country, everybody who's in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, bankruptcy, probate, 17 different criteria. We can see if a house is vacant. We can see if it's absentee owner. We can see if there's no loan on the property. We can see all those things. So would that kind of data, would that kind of information give you a distinct advantage, you think, in the marketplace right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, data information is key. Here's the secret: education plus information plus action equals results. Well, the fact is you can get the education. In fact, the group I'm in, we have all the training programs, everything you want: flipping, buying rentals, managing rentals, wholesaling. It's all in there. It shows you how to get and use the right information. Then it's incumbent upon you to take the right action. And when you're in with a group of people who, just like you, because I can tell you right now, I've worked with police officers before, and the one thing we have in common is this: we know the day we're going to retire. We're looking forward to it. We just might not have the best plan for it. And there's no better plan than having some real estate in there. It's a physical, tangible asset that never goes to zero. It always maintains value. And if you don't have to sell, it's bringing in rent, passive income every month for you to have freedom of time, freedom with your family, to do the things you want to do when you leave the force. So you got your pension income coming in, you got passive income coming in from your rentals, and heck, you could take on another business, maybe start your own consulting firm, right? So like that sounds like the kind of thing that would help you prepare better for when that 5 years is up.
That sounds good.
Okay. If I could show you in the next 24 hours a list of properties of people that we know for a fact need to or want to sell now, and they're not on the services, they're not being advertised for sale, but we know who they are, would you be interested in discussing that?
We could probably do that.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. And then, of course, you got to make the appointment and you got to follow up. You got to go get the list and start doing your business, But that was a good one. Thanks, Tony, for stepping up to the plate. And hey, guys, I tell you, it's a little bit after 8. Any other final thoughts or questions? If you're new to this, like Gary Doyle, I think you're kind of new to this. I love the role playing. We don't do it every week. This is maybe once every. Man, it seems like once every quarter. If we're lucky, we should do this every month, I think. But this is one of my favorites because it just gets us engaged in a safe environment. I don't know how to describe it. It's just what I like. So, yeah, Helen, thank you, Helen, for saying that. So, Cedra Jefferson saying most officers use their drop fund money to invest or buy a new home. So I'm not sure if that's true across the country, but is that something that sounds familiar down in Southeast Florida?
Yeah, they do that.
Excellent.
But another thing that you run into is that, well, I have a realtor already, so how can you help? Or I got a cousin that's a realtor,
Yeah.
but they're realtors. They're not investor realtors.
What I would say is, first off, ask her, are you under contract with them?
Right.
Most people aren't. Most agents don't do that. Then I would say then ask them, are they a certified investor agent? Okay. And say, look, if you want to use your cousin to do your own home that you buy and sell for yourself, that's great. I don't mind. But if you're working on investments, think about it. Would you go to a motorcycle mechanic to work on an airplane? Probably not. So why would you go to a traditional residential agent to work on investment properties as opposed to one who is trained to work specifically on investment properties? That's the difference, Yeah. So that way you're not cutting out the relative or the friend, I would make that concession. I want all the business, of course, but I know statistically with an investor, I'll get paid more than 4 times in that relationship, where with the owner occupant, I might get paid once. So I'm willing to give up that one transaction if they'll let me work with them on the investments. I learned that from one of my old brokers. Great comeback when you get that objection, So, okay, good. Anything else, guys? Any other final comments or questions? Okay. Well, next week we will be meeting on Tuesday the 13th. So if you do have ideas for subject matter to discuss, if you could email me in advance, preferably at least 24 hours in advance so I have time to prepare, that would be great. Otherwise, I use the text emails and phone calls I get through in a week to come up with a subject for the next webinar. But having your input's invaluable. This team's not about me, this team's about you. So definitely exercise your rights to speak up and tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll prepare that for the next session. In the meantime, you guys have an awesome rest of the week, man. Sean says, sorry I was late and need more of this. Thanks, Gary. So Sean, I'll tell you what, why don't we plan on doing a role play every month, at least for the moment, at a minimum? Because I think there's, of all the things I can teach, role playing, I found gains you far more confidence in the marketplace than anything you can read in a book, you know? Look at that, look at us, I agree. Role play is important. Thank you, Cindy. Hey, Cindy, good to see you log in, good to see you. Hey, Cindy, I think we're on twice tomorrow, is that right? Yep, we got 2 tomorrow, hot dog. Okay, guys, listen, take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy, keep swinging the bat. I mean, every single day, you should be calling 5 people from your sphere. I would take one morning once a week, take one morning, go out and do sign captures. Those are the grassroots efforts. That's not stuff you're gonna read in books. It's not glamorous, it's not high tech, but it works, okay? And then if you're on the team, well, we really better be focusing on real flow and KV core together. That combination is producing some amazing results. The last week, two Davids, David Evers up in Navarre did 2 letter campaigns using real flow leads, and it's now with the 5 transactions. And then David Schmeidich from Houston got one guy who wants to sell 5 condos in a package, and another individual seller. So that's 5, that's 6 from 2 letter campaigns using the real flow leads. So it's working. I mean, we got some amazing statistics out there using this stuff. So that's your work engine. So impress me, get out there, swing the bat, set up your strategy calls. Let's go over these things and set some goals and take some action. In the meantime, God bless you and your family too. So have a good week, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.